good number of folks, we can get started. So Anthony is taking a well-needed, hard-earned vacation. He's on a plane right now, so the rest of the team will be filling in for him. To kick off, I don't know if Maxwell, you've been on a community call before. We're going to introduce Maxwell, one of our ninjas who works on all things pollen. He's going to start us off with a joke.
So, what do flowers say to themselves every morning as a motivational speech? They say, "This'll be the day. This'll be a beautiful day." Sorry, that was really corny.
Heyo. Okay. So this is Christian. We've got in the room Dag, Tom, Maxwell, and then Sierra is also on the stage, obviously. So let's get into it. First topic for today. Everybody will be excited to hear all of the back pay has been paid out from the period where we lost logs. So appreciate everybody's patience with that, but everybody should be made whole on that by now. The next topic, also top of mind, and Oscar's walking in as well, so we've got Oscar now too. An update on the cheating situation, the gaming. If anybody who's on the call last week or 2 weeks ago is aware, we put the La Jolla and Baltimore clusters into escrow pending an investigation. We've completed that. We've had conversations with the flower owners. We'll give a brief readout to the community. We'll also post this in writing just so everybody knows. But we did determine that there was gaming going on. It was the hosts that the flowers were being hosted by. We were able to confirm the reports that the community was reporting not being able to get the coverage that was represented on the maps. So those radios have been pulled. They're being repositioned with new hosts. The BBs have been pulled as well. So all the hosts who were found to be gaming the system will no longer be in the Pollen network, and we'll be releasing all of the escrowed PCN to the community. We'll be trying to do that sometime this week. No hard deadline on that yet, but it doesn't matter because everybody will be made whole anyway. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go back and look at all the earnings over the period from when escrow started, and then pay out everything that's in the escrow pro rata based on what everybody's earned over that period. So we think this has established a great precedent. We caught the community caught some nefarious activity going on, and everybody's going to be getting paid out the PCN they should have earned over the escrow period due to the escrow policy. So looks like we've got a question from Chris. Let me see if I can figure out how to bring him up. There you go. Okay, I think you're on mute.
Hey there, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify, when you say that the hosts were gaming, are you suggesting that's not the flower owner, but the person who was holding on to the flower for them?
Yeah. So the flower owners were also able to confirm that what we were seeing as some abnormal behavior. They weren't able to replicate the coverage in the places where it was being reported, similar to what everybody in the community reported. We determined that the flower owners were not sponsoring that activity, and they were very transparent with us, and were very quick to help us resolve that. So, yes, it was. The conclusion we're coming to is that it was the folks who were actually hosting the flowers were conducting the gaming.
Gotcha. All right. And so is there any conclusion on whether this is sort of like above and beyond just a GPS giving false pings in different hexes, or is that like still possibly or even likely the extent of the gaming that was happening in these clusters?
I think there was probably some GPS spoofing going on.
Okay.
So that was part of it.
That might have been part of it. So I think we will have a more thorough like conclusion when we release like a document. Our plan is to release a document before we do the escrow payments. So you'll see like a more fleshed out document that says, hey, these are the reasons why they were cheating. These are the things that like allowed us to catch them. And maybe not to the extent of like you can cheat again or like you can use that information to cheat again, but like enough information to make it clear that we know why they're cheating and we know that they are cheating. That information will be released as part of the report that we put out. So expect that in the next within the next week, I'd say.
Sounds good. Thanks so much. I'm glad to see all this Anna gaming stuff moving forward.
Thank you. I don't know how to boot you from the stage. So, oh, there we go. Cool. So, don't see any other questions on that. Next topic is the greenhouse shipments of the dandies. We again appreciate the patience. We did take longer than we anticipated. That was really going through QC, making sure that these were going to work once we got them out in the field. We're provisioning the last of them. I think there's like 12 left to be provisioned right now. So as long as we get those done before the UPS cutoff, those remaining 12 will go out today. If not, then it's tomorrow. So that has been largely fulfilled, and the new hex limits associated with that are in effect now.
They are in effect. New limits for anyone who isn't aware. It's 5 for camellia, 5 for dandelion, and the buttercups go up from 20 to 25. So those were the changes that were made. They were active starting this weekend. So going forward, you'll see dandelions and camellias will earn only for 5 hexes, and buttercups will earn for up to 25 hexes.
Got a question from Rich Homicon. How many flowers were placed into escrow? I don't remember the exact number, but we did post all of them. Yeah, they were posted in the BeeHive chat, I believe, last week, and then the Pollen.Vision guys posted them on a gray list or something like that on the website.
There were 16 flowers, and there were
Good number of BBs. Tree is counting silently, lips moving.
52 BBs and 16 flowers.
A lot of BBs.
Good number of devices.
We've got a question.
And I will say the process for those BBs is if they've been cleared from the list and we know that they've been vetted, that they will be returned to earning rewards, unless we get further confirmation from the investigation that they've been completely compromised, in which case we will blacklist them going forward. So just for emphasis here, none of the bees or flowers that we have put on the gray list are going on the blacklist right now. That's because the investigations that have concluded have determined that the hardware will return to correct, like non-gaming operation. So there will be a period of time where we monitor those devices going forward, and we will make sure that they are not in a working back in the gaming scheme. And as long as they're not, they will continue to earn in the future, and any subsequent violations will be put on the escrow list again.
Yeah, and if these flower owners, if this happens again, obviously, then it's a little bit tougher to accept that it was just the hosts, and more serious consequences will be coming. Rich, you're on the stage.
Yeah, no, I don't want to beat a dead horse. It sounds like you guys have mostly resolved it, and there's kind of more details to come. But I asked the question about how many flowers, and also I think the BB part is important too, because I think it's very, very hard to believe that there were 16 different hosts, or maybe there's multiple dandelions on one site that were sophisticated enough to game like this, and also 52 bumblebees is a ridiculously high amount of bumblebees to have been involved in the gaming scheme too. So we just ask that you guys could kind of take a second thought on that as you kind of finalize the investigation process and determine if it was really actually hosts that were involved in this game, or if it was something more nefarious like the flower owners themselves, because it just seems a bit hard to believe that many people would be sophisticated enough to game on this level.
I think I agree with what you're saying, but I think the downside or the flip side to that is, what do we do as a community to prevent this from happening, right? And I personally don't think a vote to ban list is a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea for the community to just vote on people and have them banned indefinitely or permanently. So I think I do agree. If it is more systematic, that we need to address that as a community. But at the same time, I think in terms of docking rewards or in terms of escrowing rewards, we can really only function on them in a device by device basis. And I hope that makes sense. But what I'm trying to say is, as network actors, we don't want to identify and take action on a group of actors who we suspect based on their ownership of devices. It's more so we want to act on the device specific activity, if that makes sense.
Well, let me add some color on the specifics of what we found. It wasn't 16 different hosts. It was like 2 or 3 hosts. So these were hosts that knew each other, and they were early. They saw some of the things that they could do to game, and it's pretty clear that they were talking and colluding to do this. So it wasn't like just 16 random people who figured this out. There was a network of these folks who knew each other. Hear you that it sounds suspicious. We believe the flower owners, but we're viewing this through a very skeptical lens. And if we see anything out of the ordinary involved with them again, then it's not 3 strikes. It's going to be basically 2. But hear you. I don't know if that helps.
Okay. No, yeah, the clarification definitely helps. I mean, it makes more sense to be 2 people rather than 16 plus.
Yeah.
Glad you guys are looking out, and appreciate you guys updating us on what's going on.
And the ratio of bumblebees to flowers is pretty high there. We do limit the ability to acquire bumblebees directly from us. There's not much we can do when people are acquiring them in the secondary market. So, the anti-swarming, other gaming mechanisms are in place, but there's only so much we can do to limit that. The good news is they are being redistributed to new hosts, though.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. That's all I've got.
Okay, no other questions on that. We can always come back to it if folks have questions.
There's a few questions in the chat.
I guess we can keep answering questions about this. Owners definitely what's going on. Giving the owners a free pass is not a way to correct their behavior.
I think we agree with that in principle. I think there is a problem with setting a precedence around finding ownership of devices. I think that's the key point that I wanted to make before. That we can definitely act on a device by device basis, right? So we can see individual devices that are misbehaving, and we can take them off the network by either escrowing them or banning them. I think when we start collecting information about owners and trying to isolate ownership behavior with those devices, you can see how that starts migrating away from a privacy-focused data collection pattern to a non-privacy focused data collection pattern, right? So like we still do want to maintain a level of privacy and a level of commitment to the anonymity of the users, but at the same time, we definitely agree that devices that are misbehaving need to be curtailed, right? So I think that there's a balance between those two things, and I think there's also a balance between kind of identifying who the actors are versus identifying the devices and making sure we isolate that for the community. I think there's like a fine line between being privacy focused and not. So we still want to maintain our values, our core values, but we also want to address the situation so that the network is better for it. And I think we will try to keep moving in that direction with our anti-gaming edicts.
There's a bunch of people making points about banning devices for a month. No way they didn't know, especially if it was reward share. These are all fair points. We hear you. Let us take that into consideration. It's a valid bit of feedback. Don't want to start a witch hunt, but hear you. You guys are making good points. Okay, next topic. BB drop. So everybody who has been buying flowers without BBs is going to be very excited here. We've got 150 in boxes, like sitting on a shelf, ready to go. We've got another 170, 110. Okay, going through QC right now.
Yeah, another several hundred that are in various stages of production.
So what that means is we're on track to start at least the private BB drops this week. If we don't have enough through QC to do the entire thing in one shot, we'll stage it in the order of the drops. But by next week, we're on track to have more than enough BBs to get everybody a bumblebee who has a flower and didn't have a chance to buy one. And then we'll be building up stock to start making public sales again. So I know it's been a long wait. Team's been working hard, worked through a lot of issues. The day has finally come. Okay, no questions on that.
There's a question: is there one BB per flower purchase?
Yes.
Yes, there is. There will be a purchase limit on BBs. One BB per flower purchase.
There's also a question about how many PCN do those cheap flowers and BBs make during that time period.
We'll release that in our official docs. When we do the escrow payments, when the escrow payments get distributed to the community, we will also know how much those escrow payments are. So at that point, we'll let people know how much was taken from the anti-gamers and redistributed back to the community.
I think they're asking how much they've earned lifetime.
We can get that statistic too, but I think
I mean, the device names are out there. We can add that up. But it is public. Are you sending email invites using some kind of code to access the private sale? I don't think we've figured that out yet, but it's gonna be based on the email used when you order the flower. And then it'll either be like a sale that you can only access with your email, or you have a code to get into the store.
We might be using something that uses your NFT, but I haven't figured out if that's going to work with our shop yet. So we might be able to use your device NFT as exclusive access. That way they line up with the flower drops.
Cool. Next topic we had, grants committee. So we finally got the committee out. Congrats to the three folks on there, and thanks to everybody who applied. We had a bunch of really good submissions. It was a tough decision. We tried balancing different points of view, different representatives of different contingents within the community. So we put some of the rationale in the announcement. We're going to have the first meeting of the committee tomorrow. The plan is to get the framework and underwriting criteria sorted. We've got kind of the skeleton drafted. We're going to get the process out there. We're going to get the website stood up. We're just going to use a simple, I forget the name of the tool we're using. But we're hoping to have that done in the next 2-3 weeks, which will coincide with finalizing, establishing the foundation. They don't have to go one to one. So even if the foundation's not completely finalized, by the time we're ready to go, we'll start accepting applications for grants, and the committee can start the process of evaluating them ahead of that. And then obviously the actual issuance of the grants will come once we have the foundation paperwork all finalized and all that fun back end stuff set up. We're still looking for an administrator. A couple of the folks who applied to the committee have raised their hand and said they might be interested. Once we have the committee call tomorrow, we're going to follow up with another call with just potential administrator candidates, just to talk through kind of what the workload looks like. Don't think it'll be super intense at first, but if we're just going to leave the program open and take applications on a rolling basis, then it'll be eventually, hopefully, a decent amount of work. So just want people to understand that, and we'll figure out how to compensate accordingly. If folks have recommendations on third parties who can do this as well, we've been working with a couple folks, including Mahesh and EV3, on looking at some of those. So we really do want this to be community driven. So any suggestions, recommendations would be very much welcomed. Don't have anything else on that. I've got a question from Heated Lime. Question related to gaming. Do we know how long this was going on prior to them being escrowed? We don't. I think you can go back in the Discord and see when some people started registering suspicious behavior. So it could have been as early as that, which was probably 2 months ago, a month ago. Yeah.
There's no real way for us to get any of that PCN back either, so it wouldn't really matter if we knew, unless we escrowed them. That's why we went ahead and moved towards escrowing them as soon as possible, which we had to, create the mechanism for and create the back end infrastructure for, which we did. So, we apologize. We didn't move as quickly as we could have, but at the same time, we were trying our best to make it a wholesale solution that worked and not just some stopgap measure. We really, again, one more time, we really want to avoid having a list of banned folks. I think that's not the way forward for our community to go. I think it would be much better if we had some kind of dynamic list that you get on and off of, that you show evidence towards to be committed to, and then you can show evidence against to get off of. So I think that's really the type of list that we're trying to build with this method. So that's why we are taking the time and really trying to get buyback from everybody. Because I think as a project we would lose a lot of positive sentiment if we were to set a centralized ban list, right? So I think it would be to the detriment of the project if we were to outright ban people without a process and without some kind of mechanism for them to redeem themselves or to get back on that. So I think that's the reason why we went with the method that we have. I know people would prefer if we just outright banned people and didn't give people necessarily a benefit of the doubt. So yeah, that's really why we were moving towards a more comprehensive solution where we had community input for every anti-gaming action that we did.
That said, we do reserve the right to permanently brick hardware if we see repeat offenders. So don't want to go there, but we certainly reserve that right. Heated lime, no balance. Yep. Okay. Just talked about that. Xenophon, you could backcharge.
You
Yeah.
you can't backcharge. Like, you can ask them to give it back. You can prevent them from earning in the future, which we're already doing. But you can't actually get them to give the PCN back.
No, but you could say you're not going to get anything paid out to you until you earn back 10,000 that you.
Right, but that would be device specific, right?
Yeah.
So they could do all the same things that everyone else mentioned. They could turn their device off and buy another device. They could do whatever else. Right?
Sure.
But it is device specific. So all of the criteria that they meet would still be per device. So yeah.
So heated lime, so we did address it. Heated lime said that we do reserve the right to do permanent bans to brick hardware.
Yeah, in the future if we have to. We would like not to.
What discourages gaming? Yes, we just addressed that. We will. We are not doing it right now, but we reserve the right to establish a ban list. Cool. I think that's all we had in terms of scheduled topics. Hopefully everybody saw the Gristle King live stream replay about Tree and Oscar. Got a lot of comments. They got a lot of fan mail
That's great.
from the ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions from the community? Sierra, are there any questions we're missing?
Nope, not that I see. And I'm sending the Gristle King interview through the chat right now in case anyone missed it. A lot of questions were answered. It's a good watch.
I'm really excited for this Houston versus Dallas face-off that's starting to heat up. Oh, the new flower. Oh, Moso? Xenophon, is that what you're talking about? Yeah. So we've got the Moso flower and the Moso bonsai. We don't have a specific date for those yet. It will be this month. Look at Oscar. See how nervous he looks. So that'll be in greenhouse. That'll be exciting. The Giga flower. No, the Giga flower is that tower in Emeryville. It's not an actual flower yet. We're planning on the next drop will be the Moso flower. The two that we announced is the short answer to that. Is there a time period that phase 2 will start? We're pushing hard to get there. Phase 2 can take different forms. I think we've said in the past, phase 2, if we can get a city to the density where we can start charging for service, whether it's a secondary service or primary service, it'll probably happen on a city by city basis. We're working hard on other ways to monetize the network as quickly as possible, since that's really the end all be all. We did announce we have our first offload agreement MOU signed. Integration on that work continues. Hope to announce that soon. So that'll be a path to getting real fiat flowing through the system. And there's a couple other alternative paths strategic paths that we're pursuing as well. But those are the big ones. Can't commit to any timing. I think Steve does a good job of talking about how these are complex discussions, but we're moving fast and we're very focused. That's one of our top priorities. Houston Dallas face off. Well, Dallas is no okay. Dallas is no competition for Houston. Well, that's some tough talk. We're coming for New York and San Francisco. Okay.
Like it.
All right.
Talking
All right. Bring it. Don't forget LA. They're rapidly coming up the curve too. Us left coasters.
Xenophon asks, can we have more than one greenhouse per location / IP address?
At the moment, no. Soon, yes.
So, if you didn't hear that, Oscar said at the moment, no, soon, yes. So that's part of the technical package that we're working on to update flowers on greenhouse to allow them to do those kinds of things. So in the works.
YT says October 12th again. What is that? Was that like the Alamo or something? What's October 12th? You can clarify, we'll answer the question, but yeah, maybe that's the date that Dallas is going to crush Houston. That's what he's getting at, I think. VPN equals profit. Go.
Any news on the honeybee rewards update / always open eSIM store? So the rewards update, I think people are asking about why some of their honeybees were seeing intermittent connections. Some attached information hasn't been coming through reliably. This is something we're investigating, and we think we'll have a fix in the next couple of days. We will announce that fix when we have it. We see it as a intermittent issue. It is something that is affecting a lot of flowers, but it's not a continuous issue. But we hope to make it go away in the next couple of days here. So we are tracking that for sure. In terms of the continuous distribution of honeybees, we're pretty close to releasing our honeybee app on the App Store. And when we have that app released, we will also release the ability to buy eSIMs via our store to support the honeybee app. We see that coming in the next. I'm not going to put a time on it. We see that coming.
That was dangerous territory.
Almost done development. Yeah, that'll be a near-term thing. We probably discuss it again next community call. But yeah, that's where we are with the app and the honeybee pipeline. Another question is any update on the honeybee app with respect to running in the background and not having the screen be on. We're working on that as well. We're working on how that app will function. We're trying to integrate some navigation features into the app as well, so that the map will move dynamically as you move, and you can drive around and the map will update. These are all things that are coming to the new app. We're still working on it, but we want to make it as user friendly as possible and as intuitive as possible. So yeah, we're working that as we speak.
Crystal King is giving you shit, Oscar, for being too quiet. Apparently, given your microphone issues on. Yeah, I think you should give him shit for not having his mohawk.
Oh, oh shit.
Yeah, it's like, you're like The Rock growing his hair out. Why would you shave the mohawk? It's like this.
Any bonuses or bounties for visiting and mapping hexes that have never been seen before? So this is a good question. We have the pollination program. The pollination program does give you the pollination scheme does give you rewards for visiting hexes that haven't been visited before and for pollinating them. We are still working on releasing the bounty payments to the flowers. That's been put on hold until we have reliable uptime metrics. We think that with Greenhouse and with the migration to the new core platform, we're going to get a lot more of this information a lot quicker and a lot more in a lot more usable format. So I think you will see those improvements coming very soon to the bounty program. But as of now, if you are visiting hexes for pollination, you will still get rewards for pollinating those hexes. And that is limited to 100 hexes per day.
There's a question about the hex limits, costs, range, the new MOSO, and the release date. We haven't set that yet. We're still working through the provisioning process, et cetera. We are slotting them into the lineup. They fit, they complement nicely the existing radios. So the hex limits, the costs, the range, the applications, we think are all very complementary. But those aren't completely nailed down yet. Timing, we were just talking, we're not going to put a hard date out there. We want to make sure everything is working on Greenhouse correctly first. So targeting sometime in the next couple weeks of having an announcement, and then typically we'll do an announcement and then a drop the next week. But hopefully it's sooner than that. But we don't have a firm date right now.
Any word on a dashboard that shows your flower status, online or real-time updates? So we are working on that as well. We have a whole set of dashboards and kind of user engagement things that we're planning to release that will allow you to troubleshoot your flower setup. That'll give you more up-to-date information on what your flower is doing, and how to troubleshoot it if something has gone wrong. We're calling it the botanist, as you guys know. So the botanist is still in progress. I think we should have an update on the status of that next community meeting in terms of where we are. But right now, it's still in the planning and development phase.
Question about what Anthony's doing on vacation. He's actually coding the new Honeybee app. That's his idea of a vacation. So dropping pollen.
In the middle of the ocean.
Is anybody getting in trouble? Boss is out. We'll find out. The keg arrives later tonight, so we'll let you know to the extent we remember. Jokes. Sorry, you did ask this question, Suave Fat Mike. I love internet names. It's like somebody has like a very erudite question. Their name is like Fat Farting Kitten or something like that. And you're just like, what am I doing? Yes, the 25%. That is correct.
So just to reiterate, the 25% will be taken off for the private Bumblebee drop, assuming that you already purchased a flower and use your code to purchase the new Bumblebee.
Our little thank you for sticking with us. Okay, Max is typing. Type faster, Max. We're all waiting. Greenhouse dandies. Yeah, we're not. Just to clarify, we're not selling more greenhouse dandies in this drop, but the greenhouse dandies that were just sold and shipped, yes, you will have the opportunity in the private sale to get a Bumblebee. Yes.
Cool. Any questions on the live chat? Anyone want to come up and ask any questions on there? It's like not.
See the Crystal King. Yeah, that's going to be a support ticket, Crystal King.
Yeah.
I was kidding, but we can talk about it. Yeah.
That will be a support ticket. But we can definitely. I can dive into that with you specifically.
I mean, if there's a widespread issue, we can talk about it. But
well, I think if we investigate and we know it's a widespread issue, then I'll come back and say it in the next community meeting. Obviously. So, yeah. We'll definitely investigate.
And by BB blinking, do you mean like the mining light, fast blink? Yeah.
What's the issue?
He's saying, I'm seeing the BB blinking hexes, but not seeing those hexes get rewarded the next day. The mining light, yes. So he's saying he's seeing mining happen in a hex, but he's not getting rewarded for it. Oh, you could be exceeding the hex limits for the flower? So if you're
Yeah, but
mining,
the bee itself should still receive rewards, even if you go over the hex limit. So definitely something we should investigate.
no, I mean if you do more than like if the same
But you
bee
should-
to flower,
Yeah, but you should get it for the first set of.
the first. So say it's a camellia,
Yeah.
you get the first 5,
Yeah.
but the 6 you won't get credit for. It's a bumblebee.
No, yes, but you should still get credit for the 5.
Yeah,
Right? So he
yeah,
should
yeah.
see some rewards for that day, but he's not seeing any rewards for that day.
You should be able to see in the ledger the existing color, right?
Yeah.
Yes. No, it's not in the ledger, but you should be able to see it other places. I can pull it up for him. I'll definitely take a look and we can. I'm seeing rewards in 2 or 3, so it's working. Yeah, so that might be a signal issue, right? So there's a possibility that you're getting to those locations, getting attaches, but your ping time is too high, right? So basically, what that means is you may be in these areas, but you might not be getting a usable network connection. So you might be getting attaches, but not usable internet. So that would lead to those hexes not being rewarded. But yeah, again, we can let's sit down and go through the if you send a support ticket, we can definitely go through the individual use cases, criteria, and make sure it's working. Another question that we had was, will current antennas be able to be upgraded to greenhouse? Yes. So we are definitely thinking of a migration strategy to get old greenhouse or old magma radios onto greenhouse in the future. That's not something that we're going to do right away, but it's something that we are working on. So expect more information on that in the future.
We're not going to address the question about public exchange listing. Please see the rules and regs. Oh, we've got a stage request. Nick.
Dogs, what's going on?
You're on the air, caller.
Oh, hey. First, well, I guess second time caller, third time listener. Yeah, I was tracking down this blinking bullshit thing, and I figured it'd be easier to talk than to type. But I think you guys covered it. I'll just send in a support ticket.
Yeah, that would be great, and I will definitely take a look once that ticket's in, and I'll let you know.
Cool. I'm assuming I'm not the only one driving around with like a little paper map with the hexes printed on it and making little Sharpie dots everywhere I see it blinking. So maybe I am, but it's like
No.
the low tech version.
No, we've seen other people doing it, but the app will eventually do that for you.
We're hoping show all that.
Magic. Hey, can I put you guys on the spot? I forgot to ask a question the other day. I'd asked someone up there, but we just didn't get to it.
Sure.
Someone had asked me, someone in the Gristle crew had asked me if you guys ship the $100,000 orders before you ship other orders. So if someone puts in the big order, yeah, who gets priority?
We do not. So if we've done a public drop, like for example the Dandelion greenhouse, and we've over the last couple of weeks we've gotten this question, we will not ship an enterprise order ahead of a retail order. So that's a great question. It's something we very much want to make sure is publicly known. We will not do that. Now, we do have in the background, right, like large customers are doing large deployments and have ongoing orders that we're processing, but we'll never let an enterprise customer jump the line for a retail drop.
Dig it. Hey, on the attaches thing that you were just talking about, I'm missing it a little bit, and it's not just for me. I went over to another fellow's house. That a shout out again to Chris. I think he's Chris P on here, and on Twitter he's what is it, DY Pulse? Is he had sent out a buttercup to this guy. This guy's got a tremendous view of all of San Diego, and it's overlooking this highway. And I'm thinking the highway is maybe 3/4 mile away. From what you said, that even if he drives along that highway, it might be kind of too short of a time period to pick up PCN for driving that. Am I understanding that right, or am I missing how that works?
At the current moment, it might be. That's the flower down to the.
Get up on that mic, dog. I gotta be able to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
Cool. So at the current
time, it might be too fast for a BB to attach driving through the highway. Right now, once the network gets more dense, we're gonna optimize handover so we can actually pass over phones between towers super fast. But at the current time, it might be too fast.
Got it. And if he's got two radios that have overlapping coverage, will that make any difference to that? Or sorry, two antennas that have overlapping coverage, will that make any difference to that at all, or no?
It might improve your chances to attach to one, depending on the speed you go, but it shouldn't be that much.
Got it. Cool. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
I don't know how I get kicked out of here, but you guys can kick me out now.
I don't really know how to kick people out, so you might just
I
be stuck
moved to
here.
the audience. I'm out.
Cool. Can you comment on enterprise customers process look like? Yeah, of course. We want to be totally transparent on that. So, and we put this on the website. If you're ordering more than $100,000 worth of stuff per year, we'll put you into our enterprise program where we'll ask for commitments and forecasts. We'll work with suppliers to get that equipment ordered, provisioned, shipped out. How many customers are doing that? There's probably 10, I want to say, 10 organizations that are doing that, or individuals who are buying in those quantities. How many flowers are sold through that? Hard to say. I would say probably over 30% of all the flowers sold at this point have been through the enterprise program. And some of those were sold also at the same time as public drops. So I think that's probably right. Yeah, I'm getting Michael's texting me. Yeah, it's probably about 30% of the flowers sold have been through enterprise. There's a big pipeline, lots of interest. We're thinking hard about how to balance that. We don't want any one organization or small, oligopoly of organizations to dominate. So, there's puts and takes with that. It's great to have partners with lots of capital, lots of expertise, and lots of locations. But we also want to make sure that we're building a truly decentralized network. So it's something we put a lot of thought into. Cool. I think that's all the questions. Anything else? Oh, iodine maybe. When buttercups? Oh, great question. So once we get through getting all of the rest of the greenhouse shipped, which is basically today, once we get Moso up on greenhouse, we're going to get buttercups up on greenhouse. We know there's lots of demand for those. So we want to get that going as soon as possible. We got to figure out, are we going to do that before we bring on the next OEM? The answer is probably yes, because that'll be faster than bring up the new OEM after Moso. Maybe not. The new OEM's got some pretty cool. One of the models we're going to be bringing on is an outdoor flower. It's going to be more powerful than the buttercup. It's pretty slick. We're really excited about that. So stay tuned. But buttercups on greenhouse is a priority. We think it should be pretty easy because it's another bicells radio, knock on wood. But we'll see. What will price look like? It'll be lower. It's one of the big benefits of greenhouse is we brought the price of the data line from 1,800 to under 800. So we're not going to be able to cut the price that on a percent basis as much on the buttercup, but I think everybody's going to be pretty excited about new pricing. 40-watt power, sure. Just don't tell the FCC you're doing pollen. Can I mount the elderflower in a car? Park is a... Yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty... Can I mount an elderflower on a car, park it somewhere like top floor of a garage for a few days and provide coverage that way? Like for an event or something? Or just like... We really don't want you... It's not really an ideal network. I mean, if we see people moving stuff around in cars, you're gonna get banned.
Put it on the escrow.
Yeah, you're gonna get escrowed. You're gonna get your PCN taken away from you.
Don't move your flowers, guys.
Oh, he's saying for an event like the Minnesota State Fair. I mean, you have to register at the SAS.
So yeah, if you do it ahead of time, if you tell us that you're going to register beforehand and get it registered, then I think it might be okay.
Yeah, I mean, covering events could be a cool thing, but yeah, make sure you do the right thing with the SAS.
Should we start a channel for that? Is there a lot of interest in providing temporary coverage surrounding events?
I think it'd be awesome. I think that's a great channel to start. Yeah.
Cool. Will do.
I still like the idea of Burning Man, but I know that's like
The antithesis.
Yeah. We have some burners in the office, and I proposed that, and I thought I was
Cool.
going to get attacked.
Speaking of events, it's a good segue for we want to hear about your meetups. We're going to sponsor one community meetup per month. So if you have any plans to get together, please reach out. If you're not in your area's channels, get in there, say hi, introduce yourself to your local community members. But we really are working on focusing on densification so we can get continuous coverage and a usable network. So we would love to help coordinate your meetups.
And we've been sponsoring them too,
Yes.
so we're happy to buy some beers. How often is it safe to move a flower? As long as you're just testing and registering at the SAS as appropriate, that's fine. But I think our maxim is if you're doing something that is not adding long-term value to the network, you're gaming, and we're gonna discourage it. If your plan is to always be moving it, that's no bueno. That's not building a network. Will OpCo conduct a local meetup? Yeah, actually, we've been discussing how we do that.
We're looking at sometime in October.
Yeah, we want to do a big event. October 12th, yes. Psychic, whoever was saying October 12th. Is the registering automatic? It's not automatic. If you're using an elderflower outdoors, it's a Class B device. It needs to be registered with SAS via CPI. You do that through our form, which we've shared in Discord, and I think it's online in Docs. Josh isn't here. If it's not in Docs, we should put it in Docs. But can Pollen be used for fixed wireless? Absolutely. We've got a lot of folks who are doing that.
I mentioned outside lands, so it'd be awesome.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Pretty soon. That's like next week.
We could take some of our.
Weekend, right? Coming weekend.
We've got mobile units we use at mine sites for Pronto. Maybe we roll those out. I don't know. It's not a lot of notes.
Cool.
Questions just keep coming. All right, 5 more minutes, then we'll cut it off. Do elderflower dandelions need to be registered if they're indoor? I don't think so. I think as long as you're within 4 walls, the height, whatever, there's the FCC is pretty clear on it. But if they're indoors, you shouldn't have to. Are there any plans to make BBs more seamless in the sense of connecting to multiple flowers at the same time? It's kind of odd right now where you need to move far.
Well, they won't connect to the same flower, or they won't connect to multiple flowers at the same time. That's never going to happen. But what they could do is move between flowers more seamlessly. And in the future, with greenhouse, we see that being something that we introduce in the near future is making them more seamlessly transition between flowers. But if the question is, can they connect to multiple flowers at the same time? The answer is no. LTE core technology will not allow that to happen. Yeah.
It can scan, but it cannot connect it to the same.
Yeah. Cool. All right, I think that's it for the questions on the chat. Yeah, stay tuned for another awesome community meeting in 2 weeks, guys, and fill the Discord with your awesome insights.
Cool. Have a great week. Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
I was gonna figure out how to turn this thing off.